Hello and welcome everyone to the fourth episode of Thinkers Unlimited, the place where we talk and the talk that makes you think. Today I'm extremely thrilled to have with me Mr. Kapil Malhotra to share his thoughts on his journey so far and the lessons he picked up from it. Kapil is the founder and managing director of Total Solutions Group. Being a chartered accountant by qualification, had the distinction of being amongst the youngest CAs in India. Through his entrepreneurial venture, Total Solutions Group, a leading ISO certified strategy consulting organization, he advises the top corporate entities across the globe. He brings 20 plus years of progressive leadership experience across market reach and intelligence, strategy and planning, auditing, customer satisfaction and experience index, performance enhancement programs, and specializes in go to market strategies, specifically in the functional domain of how to build a sustainable and profitable venture. He is driven by his zeal, which made him venture into various sectors across the business world. Known for his business acumen and an eye for detail, Kapil is an active angel investor and mentor with over 20 plus companies in his personal portfolio. Some of his invested companies include iTrain, ISS, CardioTrack, Blue Vector, and Wiseair. He is also a venture partner with 9 unicorns. He has a Midas touch, which is evident, wherein almost all of his startups are profitable and or have raised subsequent rounds of investments. So thanks a ton, Kapil, for accepting my invite today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prashant. It's a pleasure.
So let's get this show started. So when I was reading about you, Kapil, I found that you have had a very inspirational story so far. So what are the key lessons others can learn from your meteoric rise from humble beginnings?
I don't know if it's meteoric or not, but one thing definitely, Dr. Prashant, that I remember my mom telling me, something when I achieved a big contract, and I was obviously very pleased and proud about it. But what I believe is that as long as you have your feet grounded and you have your head, held high, it's like an eagle, the top of the skies with its head down. So that is something that I believe that your success is not a factor of you only. It's a combination of a lot of seen and unseen things. So at a very early age, I got the education to acknowledge it and to understand and appreciate it. So for me, I would still say that I think like a startup. I still think that it's just the start of my journey. And just imagine Mr. Tendulkar scoring 100. Next day, he starts his new match at 0. So that's the type of approach that I like to keep for myself.
Great. You have been a serial investor. How do you pick a company to invest from a vast plethora of options? What are those key boxes that have to be ticked for you before you sign that check?
So, it's a combination of various things. It's like, when you're dating and you're getting married, you're looking at various things that, the family background, the person that you're getting married, the traits, the habits, the looks, the communication, and various other things as well. But when it comes to the startup world, and that is what I tell to my portfolio companies, that what everyone needs to understand is that an investor is the most optimistic person on the planet, is what I believe, because he might be asking a zillion questions, but you know why he's asking those questions, Dr. Prashant? Because he wants to get convinced. And then eventually he's investing his money, or if he's a fund, they're investing their money or someone else's money in the dreams of the person who is sharing his idea. So what we basically look at, two, three things. Definitely the quality of the founders, right? Now, it doesn't mean they have to come from a Ivy League or from the top schools, uh, but definitely they have to have, that slight edge or quirkiness of what an entrepreneur thinks, which is a combination of creating something new, which is a problem solver. He should have an innovative bent in his mind. He should be a risk taker for sure, and the most important thing, he has to believe in his idea. So one is definitely the founder is that we look at, or the founders is what we look at. Secondly, I would say very importantly is, what is the problem that they're solving? That's a very critical part to the equation of understanding that the business that they're in, and what is the impact of the problem that they're solving. So let's say, for example, uh, when I invested in Wobot as a company that today has raised $2.5 million from Sequoia, they were creating a technology based on computer vision or camera vision, which does analytics of what activities are happening on the ground, and it can be done in an intelligent way through a camera, which is one. Then Genuine Mark was another company that was solving the problem of counterfeiting and supply chain traceability, which is a huge, huge problem. You look at, you know, adulterated milk powder for infants. Now imagine the problem on that, or pharmaceuticals. So most of, or I would say all of my portfolio companies are either addressing a real challenge today and also something in the future. I think only one company, I think that where I just jumped into it, was a company by the name Deliver Fuel, and they do fuel delivery, which is at your doorstep, or basically for B2B, for factories, hospitals, malls, and stuff like that. And for me, what was important that I understood is that fuel is a product that is being sold any which ways. It does not require that much of marketing. It's not diamonds. It's not a concept. It's not something different. And it's a high volume, low margin business, but the volumes are fairly high. And I saw an Uber and an Ola model moving towards the B2B space as well. So they also raised $500,000 last year. It's a combination of founders, the business problem that they're addressing, and the future. What impact can they bring in the market?
Lovely insights. You are someone I consider who has played a major role in making mystery audits move from a one-off fad to a necessity for everyone, including us as corporates. What, according to you, has made that happen, and what do you see the future for mystery audits going forward?
Sure. So the background to that, Dr. Prashant, when I became a chartered accountant, I saw 2, 3 roles that I could play. One was at the end of the year, understand the company's financials and look at how healthy they are. There was another part that, can I operate during the year with certain clients and help them make those financials become more healthy, whether it's the top line or the bottom line. And the third thing that came to my mind, which was the most important point, was customers, whenever you're selling anything, whether it's a automotive, whether it's a bank account, whether it's a restaurant, an airline or hotel, they all have one North Star, which is customer excellence or getting customers. You can't do any business without customers. And my entire model then thought about that approach, that how do we create a product and a solution where we can actually feel what a customer feels. And can I put that into analytics and an actionable scoreboard and kappa trackers around that and action planners and multiple things. So for me, what I realized is that every owner of an organization would love to hear how could they make their customers more satisfied? How can they bring more customers? How can they retain customers? So mystery shopping as a business, when I started it in 1999, 2000, I called it customer experience mapping program. That is what I used to call it, because you're mapping the customer experience. And in 2002, I got a call from an international company to come and talk at an international conference on mystery shopping. And I said, what's that? And they said, boss, that's what you're doing internationally. It's known as mystery shopping. So so it's not something that I followed and I replicated. It was something that I thought was important. And globally, it's a large industry. And today we are very large in the mystery shopping and the mystery audit space. In India, we have more than 40 to 50,000 auditors with us who work. We have a full tech platform, full analytics behind it. Internationally, we've forwarded into the Southeast Asian market. In the Middle East, I've spent considerable time there. We're doing some very valuable work there. And customers are happy and clients couldn't be happier.
And anything in the future that you think which is still not done in this space, which you find will come in the years to go?
Of course. I mean, we've already looked at a 360-degree convergence of what all can we build to it. For example, what we've started addressing with our clients is not only doing a fault finding activity and finding what the problem is, and we're linking it to actionables based on trainings now, because imagine a trainer today going to an outlet or calling a team to come for attending a training, whether it's online or offline. And imagine the trainer knowing exactly what the problem is with this audience. Is it product knowledge? Is it soft skill? Is it compliance related? Is it POSH related? What is that thing that we need to talk about? It's like a blood report, you have vitamin A, B, C, D deficiency. Your age is 35. This is the dose that you need. You're 45, you have vitamin A and D deficiency. So what we've done is that through mystery shopping and mystery audits, we've created a blood report in terms of what your deficiency is. iTrain kicks in terms of solving that problem. And COVID has taught us and our clients a lot, especially the power of collaborating, And what we have now transformed, Dr. Prashant, you'd be pleased to know, what we have transformed ourselves as an organization is not just an audit organization, but as the word says, solutions. So what we're doing now is performance enhancement, productivity enhancement, sales growth. So we are now using our field force on the ground to enhance the customer sales or acquisition. So that is the real needle that everyone would really like to move in the right direction. But the nuts and bolts are mystery audits and the iTrain and other services that we bring to the table.
The future definitely looks bright, I would say.
It does.
Staff training and development, it's one of both our favorite topics, actually.
Right.
And it's getting its steroids nowadays from technology. So what innovations are on offer today and what can we expect tomorrow?
So I think, in a very rudimentary way to put it, my son goes to a school, they have the same class teacher, every student scores differently. What does that mean? That implies every kid is built differently. As these students grow up, when they join organizations, their ability to learn, grasp, and implement will also be different. Now, is there a magic wand that you can create, which is not only towards information dissemination, which is not only towards quizzing and getting the person the correct answer? I believe in the concept of helping the recipient to master the concept. Unless the person masters the concept, the person's self-esteem and confidence is not going to go up. If that does not go up, you cannot tell that person to smile in front of the customer, because he would not or she would not be able to bring across a smile which a customer feels very comfortable with. So what we've been able to do with iTrain is to build that level of personal mastery on topics where that person has deficiency in. Now imagine that if you're able to build that, it's like a personal trainer in the gym. He knows your age, he knows your lifestyle, he knows what you can eat, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan or a non-vegetarian. And imagine all of that happening through a digital platform, which can be replicated and scaled across 10,000 employees in a company. Now that's beautiful to hear, right? And if you are able to do that every month, step by step, each employee, when he goes home or when she goes home, they're going to feel empowered. So I believe that LMSs of the world and other platforms of the world, which are brilliant, now is the time that you really need to, the output is what also matters, along with the input. And at the end of the day, what does the employee feel about that training session? So I always believe, as a chartered accountant, whenever I sit with some of the decision makers in organizations, which are the training teams, the HR head, but at the end of the day, there's one gentleman known as the CFO who says, show me the ROI. And whenever budgets are slashed, unfortunately, they're slashed on certain departments, right? Now, if you're able to prove a math out here with the science, and obviously you have to blend in the art, then this becomes the DNA of the organization. And we've seen this happen in great companies. So our focus is to ensure that you train people the way that they need to be trained, and to each his own, but do it through a platform which is scalable, and that is what iTrain delivers. Thanks for that question.
Great. You are one of the few people I've met who I really love to talk to, So what's that secret sauce to this recipe called Kapil Malhotra?
No, I think we've had great conversations, Dr. Prashant. It's always a pleasure, and thanks for inviting me today as well. I mean, there's no secret sauce. I think it's all about experiences in life. I think you learn so much every day. There's more in the world. There are more things that once you start experiencing, you get to learn more things as well. I think the hunger to learn, but I would also add one thing which would be maybe a little cliched. There's certain things that I do on a repeat basis, like every day in the morning, I would listen to a Blink, on Blinkist. I would listen to the TED Talks. I would try to read as much. One thing that has bit me during COVID is yoga. So, I've started meditating, which my wife says, someone like you and the energy that you have, it's very difficult to make you sit still. It's like, me and my son, with the same energy. I mean, obviously he has more, but the constant desire to learn helps you, translate that into meaningful conversations with friends like you and others. And at the end of the conversation, you feel that you've learned. Like I feel I have learned something, or maybe you take back something as well. And that desire to have those type of conversations, even if you're having a banter with a friend and all, so I think, it's something on those lines is what I would say.
Thanks. I'm sure there are many rabbits yet not pulled from the hat of yours. So what more can we expect in the coming years from you and your organization?
Tough question to answer, but I would say, there are a few things that I'm trying to definitely work on. One is obviously the previous questions that you asked is about, see, training people is also something that you would correlate to motivating people, right? Uh, a stat says that maybe 2% in the world are self-motivated people. The business opportunity is that how do you make the 98% into your business, right? That's a model that you work on. And I was listening to something recently where it talked about the 1 minute, it's a 1 minute exercise or an activity that you do because you don't need a motivation to do something for 1 minute. I mean, yeah, if you want to do a half marathon or you want to do something else, you need a lot of motivation and you have to be self-motivated. It's like, you need to get those six-pack abs, or you want to do something else, or those are big goals. So what I have been able to do, and if I decode it into my personal strategy, I would say that, with the startup world, which is currently, I mean, in India, the wave that you've seen picked up over the last decade, and obviously the government's push on that, and India being a land of entrepreneurs in one way, what I've tried to do is to start spending time with young entrepreneurs or any entrepreneur, trying to understand their pattern of thinking, right? Trying to create a business model around that. So I recently was on an event known as Tie the Knot on Young Turks on CNBC, and we had a few finalists there. There was one finalist who created a technology which you will see in the future in terms of it coming about. But this startup had no idea of how to commercialize this brilliant technology. Now, that is where I come in and I say, hey guys, okay, look, let's try to figure this out. And that is where I think the rabbits start coming out from the hat, So I don't have something that I believe I'll be able to create myself because I might have my own limitations. However, when I will start, and that I have started collaborating with brilliant minds, I think it's the entire jungle, not the rabbits only, it's coming out. So that is something that I'm really enjoying. It really gives me a lot of energy and goosebumps at the same time. And I'm trying to look at, is there something that we can create, or are there many things that we can create that will really impact the world in a very positive way? So that's something I would say that has become kind of my North Star, that can I find impact businesses in any sphere, and how can I take it to a level that can touch 7.8 billion people? If it does, I mean, it's a successful model in itself.
Great. You have your fingers in multiple pies. Which one amongst them is dearest to your heart, and why? It's a difficult question, but if you have to pick one, what is something which you feel most connected to?
It's a super difficult question. So let me put it this way, when one kid grows up and the other kid comes up, so the other kid needs different attention, and the other kid who's grown up needs a different type of attention. So difficult to pick up the favorite, but currently a couple of things that have started, whizzing or buzzing in my head, if I can say that. One is the model which is on the Indian occult sciences. So, it's something that I've tried to understand. So if you see my hands are empty, I don't wear anything. I mean, obviously everyone believes in some power or the other. But I've started looking at, the pre-British era, how our kings and all of them used to have a personal advisor who used to be either an astrologer or a futurist. You can call him in any other words. But there is a science behind it. There is something that adds to something, whether it's the law of attraction that you might want to call, whether it's your stars, whether it's numerology. I mean, you can call it whatever you want to. And that has been intriguing to me, because there have been certain instances that have come across to me where certain people have predicted certain things. And, you can call it intuition. But so then finally, I tried to build this up, and then I finally invested in a startup which does this. So that's one area that I'm very keen to further explore and figure out a method on it which becomes democratized, which and should be do it yourself. It's not that you have to go and meet someone and do it. It should be something that it's like a ingredients chart of the day. How can we do that? Which is one. Second, I would say is the health and wellness side that I believe is something that maybe age is catching up. So that's something that I feel that we should all look back into. We always go back to our grandma's recipes. So I think I would like to look at that. There's another startup which is doing some fantastic work in the Himalayan belt. They are sourcing products in pristine conditions. So we're trying to do something on those lines. And my love for the film industry has always been since I was very young. I think I would be doing something in that region or that industry. Maybe not as an actor anymore, but
why not?
Why not? So let's see.
Thanks, Kapil, for sharing all these thoughts with us. And I'm sure there are many budding entrepreneurs who must have received that booster dose of inspiration to take them across the finish line.
Thank you very much. A question for you.
Yes.
So you're on the 4th episode now, and I watched a couple of yours. I think, first of all, what you guys are doing is great. And I'm sure COVID has given you an opportunity to scratch your head to do what you're doing right now. So tell me something about that, and what are you thinking ahead?
So this has been purely COVID, I'll say. COVID came upon all of us, but it affected me that first I started writing on LinkedIn, which I wasn't doing it. So I've been now doing it very regularly. So then the next thought was LinkedIn, now where next? Right. So the natural, movement forward was, let me do something on YouTube. Then I thought, what? So I thought I'll speak to people of different industries, but we'll talk about life lessons and leadership, the future, what holds in that particular stream. So there was this one person, I had a webinar, Mark Cox, and I did that. So now my thoughts going forward is, what next? Who do I bring on as a guest, and what field he or she should be? So it keeps me busy. One is to kind of, doing that analysis, who it should be. Then it's not easy to reach out. Like Helen Bevan, which I did recently, I sent her a message on Twitter, and she very kindly responded. And I was speaking to her along with another associate of hers. So it's a very interesting space. And one, I love interacting with people. And this has now, through the Zoom and COVID, we have learned that you can sit in your own office at home and you can still be interacting. You don't have to have a face-to-face interaction. I'm getting enlightened every time I'm talking to people like you, and would want to kind of do that. Right now, I'm doing it once a month. Let's see how that moves forward. But yeah, this is something very interesting and exciting to have in life, to have who the next guest would be. And every time you talk to anybody, there's something to always pick up from, as has been today.
No, great. And I wish you more power, more luck. And I mean, I'm sure, the variety of people that you're talking to at the end of the day, as you rightly said, there's a lot to gain. And I'm sure you're enjoying this journey as well.
Thank you. And I would request the viewers to share this video within their network, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel too. And until we meet again, stay safe. And thanks again, Kapil.
Thank you very much. Cheers.